name is Juanita Szczepanski right now. I've had a few other names. Mohammed, Imran, Brooks.
Okay, Juanita, tell me why you wanted me to videotape you right now.
I want to leave a legacy. I want young women to understand where we came from and where we're going. The first thing I remember is when I was young, I remember everybody was getting these polio shots. And in my family, it was a big deal because some people wanted a polio shot and other people didn't want a polio shot. And I didn't understand until I got older that the ones who didn't want the polio shot were afraid because of the Tuskegee experiment.
Right, the Tuskegee.
Yeah. You'll have to forget my voice is all blurred. So then they learned it from the little TV that they saw. And everybody was interested in that little TV. And I thought it was so amazing that so many things was on that teeny little TV, and it gave so much information. I thought it was entertainment at first. Then I realized it teaches you about yourself and about others, about your surroundings. People generally, when they look at TV, they just look at it. They weren't realizing in that time that the outside stuff, when a person's interviewing somebody, especially a news person, sometimes there's bias in there. But people didn't understand that. And I started seeing that bias and realizing, hey, this guy is not on our side. I was born in 1957.
Okay.
I know my next door neighbor didn't get the polio shot.
Yeah.
And her daughter couldn't walk.
Is that part of why you've been a lifelong AIDS activist?
I guess so. Because I had an aunt who was a preacher, and she always felt sorry for people. So I felt sorry for other people. And I had a cold mother who didn't feel sorry. And I never understood why you don't feel sorry for people, especially if they're poor. And at that time, I didn't think I was poor because we were fed and we had clothes and a place to live. So I didn't think we were poor. As I grew bigger, I started seeing more around the world. And my main thing was women. In my family, there's like 4 women who were aunts and 3 uncles. And as I grew, my brother, I had just brother and sister, but it seemed that always everybody in the family went to the women in the family.
For help, for
help.
For power.
For power. So I learned from women, especially my mother.
Yeah.
I would see her around the house. My mother wasn't a decorator. She was a fixer. She fixed the curtains. She fixed the doors.
Yeah.
And I that kind of interested me. So when I finally graduated from high school, I wanted to be 2 things. Either a movie director or a working construction. So at first, I went to construction. There was a place called Non-Traditional Employment for Women.
Right.
And I went there for a few years and learned about how to do things, build a house, be the person behind saying what to fix and what not to fix. Mm-hmm. And I went with women. We would go out and we would protest like at the convention center, we went in protests. And we were on the news. And then we went to Ford and other companies, and they would ask us questions like, do you have your period? Do you get pain? And we would say, that's illegal. And they would ask anyway. And if you said it was legal, they weren't going to hire you. Then I heard about HIV, that only gay men got it. And I was scared like everybody else because I had never been around gay men. But then I heard how they were being treated badly, and I didn't think that was right. So one day I picked up my phone, I called the New York Health, and I said quietly, I would like to volunteer for y'all. And they said, oh, what's your name? What's your phone number? I clicked that phone off. Then I called back again. This time I gave them my name and my number. And they called me and they said, oh, we'll try to find you a place. And I said, okay, good. And I asked my husband, would you mind, who was Muslim, would you mind if I work with people with HIV? And he said, are you going to bring it home? I said, no. He said, okay, fine. So when they called, I went down and I said, I would like to volunteer. They said, fine. There was a place called Brooklyn AIDS Task Force. So I went there and I started volunteering. People would come in and I would do research for them. And then I would talk to the people with AIDS. And it seemed I had a speciality. I made people feel comfortable. So they would give me the people to talk to, and I would talk to them like a normal person and tell them my problems and their problems, and we got along real fine. And from that, I went to nighttime, going to the prostitute areas and talking to the prostitutes. They would come in the van, and they had skimpy little clothes on, and they were so cold and so happy that they had a chance, just 5-10 minutes, because the drug dealer or the pimp was on the outside saying, hurry up. And they would get their little McDonald's coupon and maybe a $5 and some cookies, and then they would take the test, and they would be so grateful, thankful. And I asked them, like, where are you coming from? It was normal places. Some place was my own area. And I felt so sorry that there wasn't that more people helping them. I would get home, I would neglect my own family, I understand now. Because I would come home like 3 o'clock at night. But I was exuberated doing that thing and wasn't downloaded. Then one day, Alexandra Juhasz came in. She was a student. And she said, you like working with me? And I said, sure. So there were 4 other girls.
In WAVE?
Yeah.
Women's AIDS Video Enterprise?
Right.
Yes.
She gave us the cameras, which shocked me. And I was thinking, these cameras are going to get stolen.
Yeah.
But no, she was brave enough.
And don't feel guilty that you can't do it all. And don't feel guilty when you have moments of fear of a person. That just think of that as, well, they're human just like me.
I took the camera on the outside and I went out of my mind.
You did.
I was all over the street, telling anybody I could see, can I interview you? I didn't know how to interview, but I was interviewing, asking people all about Wade while I was shooting the camera.
I'm really, all the different kind of people that's here, it's really great.
From BATF, I got a call from GMHC. And I came in and they asked me, what would I like to do? And I said, work with the clients. And they said, well, we don't got room right now. But we do have room in our audiovisual department with Jean Colamusto, who was very into what she was doing. She was gung-ho. So I said, sure. So I started researching with her. That was nice. And then she said, would you like to make movies? And I said, yes. So she gave me time to learn what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when he was born, I was with his mother through the whole delivery. He was born in my sister's house, and I had to stay in there with her the whole time. It was something, and I was the first one to see him, so I was the one she gave him to. She wanted to have and raise him, and I've been doing that ever since then. When I found out Eric was HIV positive, I was more scared than anything because I didn't know about my sister, and I found out then, but she would never tell me.
I started out trying to do art. I couldn't do that. Then I tried to do poetry, and I realized I could do poetry, and I could write a story.
Once lustrous brown hair is now listless. I have so many chins, I lost count a long time ago. My kids smirk and giggle when I dance. Television ads tell me what to do. By the way, I exult in my broken veins. I exult in my cellulite. I exult in being an older woman.
I didn't have to learn it. It just came to me. And I wanted to share it with everybody. I hope that it would help at least one person. I knew it couldn't help the world, but if it just helped one person, especially when I was writing poems about homosexuality, there were homosexual kids that said that helped them.
Love is not hate, but love is friends loving friends. Love is brotherhood. Love is women loving women. Love is men loving men. Love is women and men loving each other. Love is not hate.
And also, I wanted to be filmed because presently I'm going to die, and I've chosen a program that will help me die, and I think it's a very good program. It's unknown, but I want people to know, because a lot of people who committed suicide and devastated their families, if they knew about this program, it might help you, because I told my family about it, the whole family, and when I do die, start the process, they will be around me. And I hope people will think about that with open minds, because medicine is changing all the time.
Yes.
Especially doctors. When they say death, they whisper to you. Mm-hmm. And they're doctors.
Juanita, I didn't know that's what you wanted to say, but you and I have spoken about your wish before, and you know that I support you, and I'm glad you're making this video about it. I didn't know that's what you wanted me to shoot, but here you are trying to help people again.
Yeah.
That's your legacy. I'm gonna turn the camera off, okay?
Okay.
Is there anything else you want to say before I do?
Just love each other. Love everybody.
Yeah, and I love you, Juanita. Okay, Juanita, I'm back visiting you, and we're at a new place. Crozier?
I'm at Kohler.
Kohler.
It's a rehab in Governor's Island.
And you wanted to say a little bit more for the video project that we're working on?
Yes.
Okay, so go right ahead.
I was thinking I had forgot about the Black movement. I was around during the Black movement, but I noticed that it was more white girls learning about the Black movement than Black girls. Black girls was busy with their families. I, for one, was busy with bringing up my family. So you didn't have time to run out and help and you heard about things happening, but to you it really wasn't happening. You was in your area and you stayed there. The only thing was when the Afro came out,
Yes.
then everybody's wearing their Afro.
They were the style.
And the power syndrome. Not that they knew what it meant. They was just wearing it. Because it was a trend like it is now.
Right.
I think I finally learned about the black movement. Because at first they were like, the Black Panthers were violent. And that's what you thought. And then you started learning more about who was in it and what was doing it. And people began to believe, well, it's not really that violent. People are just telling us that, and we're believing it. And I think that was helped by the movies that were made.
Right.
To show you more that they were human and they had real issues.
Mm-hmm. One last thought.
I met a girl named Evelyn. People call her E. She was a drug addict and tried her best to get off drugs, but she never could. She told me one time it was more easier than to take the drug, than to go through the pain of not getting through it. And my husband hates drug addicts and asks me why I don't. I don't because they're people like everybody else. They're trying their very best. They know they have families and they know that they're stealing from them and lying to them. They don't want to, but the drug is so hard, they do. Mm-hmm. He was illiterate. She hid that from me for a while, so I finally figured it out. But she went to school and she learned how to read and write. I remember the first thing she did was a little book, and she was so happy, and I was so proud. And she didn't like lesbians, She was scared to hang around with that crowd, and in the end, she started hanging around, leading and being proud of it. And I'm glad that she learned that to be what she was herself, which made me more be what I was myself.
Juanita, let me ask you one more question, okay? You did ask me to shoot this. So why are you asking me to make this video? And, what would you like me to do with it?
Well, I want it for my legacy with the kids, but also with women. I would like it shown on cable or in some kind of library setting, or especially in a community setting like we did with, I forgot my movie.
We Care.
We Care. With the movie We Care, we went into communities, and at first I didn't think they were going to like it, be interested, but then they were very interested, and they asked questions that I thought they would never ask, and they asked questions that they themselves were surprised, and some people actually said, I'm getting the camera and try to start this.
Yeah.
And they did.
I remember.
So I'd like it in especially community settings.
Maybe inspires people to make their own videos.
Yes.
About how they find peace and power and all the things you've been interested in.
Exactly, because when you make it about yourself, you learn a lot about yourself, and you bring out a lot that you've forgotten your own self.
Yeah, I agree. Are you okay with me stopping now, or is there something else you'd like to say?
I just like to say, always go for your dreams. Don't let nobody get in the way of your dreams, especially yourself, because you have a lot of dreams and you can reach for them and help other people just as well as yourself.